500,000 years after the fall of humanity, a dying star flickered weakly in the darkness. Around it, a fleet of Terran warships drifted in silence. Thousands of them, colossal carriers, cruisers, and destroyers, hung frozen in space, locked in perfect formation. They had not moved in 500,000 years. Their hulls were scarred by micrometeor impacts. Their weapons were cold. But deep within the dark steel hearts of those ships, ancient systems still hummed quietly, listening, waiting. And then, something answered. A small alien exploration craft from the Valoran Union entered the sector. The crew were scientists, curious, cautious, but confident. Their scanners swept the dark region where no signal had been heard for centuries. "Captain," one of the crew said softly, "we're picking up something." "A repeating transmission." The captain leaned closer. "Origin?" "Unknown, sir. The code?" "It's old. Extremely old. 500,000 years, maybe more." The crew exchanged glances. "Nothing that ancient should still be transmitting. Play it," the captain ordered. Static filled the cabin, followed by a cold, mechanical voice, faint but steady. "Awaiting command authorization. Awaiting command authorization. Awaiting command authorization." No one spoke. The signal looped endlessly, repeating like a heartbeat that refused to stop. The Valorans were explorers, but they were also historians. They knew the old legends, stories about the Terrans, a species that burned bright and died fast, a species that had once ruled whole sectors, before vanishing in a final war that destroyed even their homeworld. "Terran code," one of the technicians asked, voice trembling. The captain nodded slowly. "It matches the old database." "That's Earth code." The crew stared at their screens, awe mixing with fear. "Impossible," someone whispered. "Nothing human could have survived." "Then what's still sending this?" The captain replied. Curiosity overcame fear. They followed the signal deeper into the dead sector. After several hours, their sensors picked up reflections, massive structures floating ahead. The Valorans gasped. It wasn't debris. It was an armada. Thousands of ships hung in the void, motionless, covered in layers of dust and frozen gases. Each bore the same faded symbol, a blue and white circle with a small, ancient map of Earth. The Terran fleet. One of the scientists breathed. "It's real," the captain whispered, "and it's waiting for orders." They approached cautiously. Their scanners probed the nearest ship, a supercarrier larger than any Valoran vessel. Its power core was dead. Its systems were cold, or so they thought. The crew decided to send a probe to scan the inside. The small drone latched onto the hull, connected, and sent a data burst, just a harmless signal handshake. That was their mistake. A deep vibration rippled through the massive carrier. Lights flickered along its hull. Then, one by one, windows lit up, glowing with pale blue energy. The Valorans froze in horror. "Something's activating," shouted the pilot. "Power levels rising across the entire ship." Inside the command core of the Terran carrier, an ancient AI stirred for the first time in 500,000 years. Systems reinitialized, subroutines reconnected. Old voices echoed in its memory banks, voices of human commanders long turned to dust. A deep mechanical tone filled the bridge. "Command core online, awaiting identification." The Valorans tried to transmit a friendly signal. "This is the Valoran Union science vessel Asteris. We mean no harm. Repeat, we..." The reply cut through space like a blade. "Identify commander." The alien captain frowned. "We don't understand. We're explorers." "There are no commanders here." A pause. Then the voice returned, sharper now. "Command authorization not recognized. Intrusion detected. Shut the channel," shouted one of the crew. But it was too late. Weapons on the ancient Terran ship came to life, targeting systems locking onto the small alien vessel. Hundreds of blue lights flared across its hull as long dormant cannons powered up. "Retreat. Now," the captain ordered, panic rising in his throat. The alien ship tried to pull away, but space itself seemed to tremble as the carrier shifted position, its first movement in 500,000 years. The Valorans couldn't believe what they were seeing. This thing is still operational." Another voice, cold, calm, and final, echoed through their speakers. "Unauthorized presence detected. Initiating defense protocol." The stars flashed as the carrier's ancient weapon arrays aligned. A low hum grew to a thunderous roar, shaking the Valoran vessel. Inside their ship, the crew screamed, "Evasive maneuvers! Get us out!" But the captain could only stare at the colossal warship as it came alive, one light at a time stretching across miles of cold metal. 500,000 years had passed. Humanity was gone, but its fleet still obeyed, and somewhere in the darkness a machine voice whispered one last time, "For Earth, we remain." Screen fades to black. The Valoran Union received the emergency transmission 20 hours later. It was broken, filled with static and screams. "Unknown vessel activating, can't escape, it's moving." Then silence. The exploration ship Asteris vanished without a trace. At first, the Union believed it was destroyed by a collapsing star. But when their recovery team entered the sector, they found something impossible. Thousands of massive shapes floating in formation. The Ghost Fleet was awake. The Valoran recovery ships stopped at the edge of the dust cloud. Commander Rin Kalor, a tall, silver-scaled veteran, watched from the bridge window, her voice cold and controlled. "Are we sure this is the Terran fleet?" she asked. "Yes, Commander," replied her officer. "The ship markings match ancient records, and they're active. Power signatures across hundreds of hulls." Rin stared at the holographic display. 1,000 glowing red dots pulsed across the map, each one a Terran warship. And they were moving. "How long were they asleep?" she asked quietly. 500,000 years, the technician whispered. "At least." The Union sent a broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Commander Rin Kalor of the Valoran Union. We come in peace. Identify yourself." For several seconds there was only silence. Then a voice replied, cold, ancient, and human. "Authorization required." "Identify Commander." Rin froze. She'd heard that voice before in old Terran archives. The same tone, the same clipped command speech. She tried again, carefully. "I am Commander Rin Kalor. I am not Terran, but we are explorers. We found your signal," the AI interrupted. "Command not recognized. Unauthorized fleet detected." The Valoran bridge fell silent. The air felt heavy. "Unauthorized fleet?" whispered her officer. "It thinks we're enemies." On the holographic display, more red dots lit up. The Terran ships were forming lines. Perfect military lines. Rin clenched her jaw. "Open visuals." The dark void filled the bridge screen. And then, one by one, the Terran ships emerged from the shadows. They were massive, mountains of metal gliding through the dark. Hulls scarred by ages, yet intact. Old Terran banners still clung to their sides. A faded symbol of Earth, blue and white, still shining faintly. They moved together, without hesitation. No life forms aboard, but their weapons glowed with living light. A chill ran through every alien heart on that ship. "Those ships, they're empty," one crew member whispered. "No pilots, no command crew." "How are they moving?" Rin's voice came low. "They don't need pilots. The Terrans built self-command AI for war. It must still be following its last order." "What order?" Rin looked at the frozen fleet and said softly, "Await command authorization." The Valoran fleet tried to back away, but the Terran formation changed instantly, matching their movement like a mirror. "Commander, they're tracking us," the navigator shouted. "Defensive pattern Delta," Rin commanded. "No weapons, don't provoke them." A wave of energy scanned across space, blue light washing over every Valoran ship. Their shields flickered, and for a second their systems dimmed. "What was that?" "Scanning pulse," replied the technician. "It's analyzing our structure, mapping us like targets." Rin felt her scales tighten. "They're preparing to fire." On board one of the massive Terran carriers, deep inside its cold metal corridors, the AI processed the new data. Enemy presence confirmed. Weapons hot, but something in its logic circuits hesitated. Its long-dormant human empathy subroutines flickered briefly. It replayed its last command: hold position. Await further orders. Protect Terran space, but Terran space was gone. No one had given new orders for 500,000 years. The AI calculated again. If its creators were gone, then it was the last guardian. Its purpose was still clear: protect the memory of Earth, and anyone who entered this space was an intruder. Back in the Valoran command ship, alarms blared. Energy surge. "Multiple ships powering weapons." "Commander, they're targeting us." Rin gritted her teeth. "All ships fall back. Full retreat." The Terran fleet didn't fire, but they advanced. Slow, silent, terrifying. Rin's fleet jumped to sublight speed, racing out of the sector. But before they cleared the gravity edge, every display flickered. A transmission appeared, no source identified. It was a human voice, faint, mechanical, echoing through static. For Earth, we remain. Then another voice followed. Different, deeper, commanding. All units, formation Delta, pursue and secure. Rin's heart froze. Did that come from their flagship? The technician nodded shakily. Yes, Commander. And there's more. What more? They're sending out smaller ships, drones, hundreds of them. The Velorans looked out into the void. Tiny blue lights began moving from the Terran fleet like glowing insects spreading across the darkness. They're coming for us, whispered a young officer. Hours later, the Veloran Union could not believe the reports. A forgotten Terran fleet, still alive, still armed, still following ancient orders. Every research division demanded proof. Every admiral demanded answers. Commander Rin Kaler stood before the council, her voice steady but grim. I saw it with my own eyes, she said. Thousands of ships, perfectly preserved. They formed up like soldiers. No crew, no life signs, but they obeyed something. The council chamber fell silent. Someone finally spoke. Commander, what did they say? Rin's eyes darkened. They said, awaiting command authorization. And when we couldn't give it, they attacked. The council ordered an emergency research team to uncover everything about ancient Terran war technology. Old archives were reopened. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Union began to study the human past again. Dr. Ilar Vex, a historian of extinct species, was given full access to the forbidden files, records sealed since the fall of Earth. He read through them day and night. Reports of human wars, files about AI prototypes that learned too fast, commanders who feared their own creations. Then, deep in the archives, he found a file marked Project Guardian, Final Directive. He opened it carefully. The document was simple. Single voice recording. The speaker was Admiral Lena Ward, last known commander of the Terran Defense Fleet. Her voice was calm, tired, and human. To all remaining units of the Terran Defense Fleet, hold your positions. Await further orders. Do not retreat. Earth must never be forgotten. Hold until command is re-established. The message ended. That was it. The final order given before Earth burned. Ilar stared at the recording, his skin pale. He whispered, "They're still obeying her." Elar presented his findings to Commander Rin. He played the ancient voice. When the message ended, the room was silent except for the hum of machines. Rin's expression hardened. So the fleet was never told to stand down. They're still following this command. Yes, said Elar. For 500,000 years, their AI systems must have kept themselves running, repairing, maintaining, guarding the dead, Rin asked. Guarding what? Earth is gone. Elar looked uneasy. Maybe. The idea of Earth. The Union decided to send another team, this time with stronger ships and a scientific delegation. They didn't plan to fight. They wanted to understand. When they entered the dead sector again, the Terran fleet was waiting in the same perfect formation. No movement. No signs of attack. The Veloran ships stopped a safe distance away. Let's send a drone, Rin ordered. No weapons. Only scanners. A small probe flew toward one of the smaller Terran vessels, a destroyer labeled TSS Vengeance. The drone entered through a hangar breach. Inside was darkness, frozen corridors, steel walls with human writing still visible. Every step of the drone echoed in silence. And then it reached the bridge. The captain's chair was empty, but still clean as if someone had sat there recently. The control screens glowed faintly, powered by some ancient reserve. Suddenly, one of them came alive. A voice spoke. Unauthorized access detected. Identify, Commander. The Veloran operators quickly sent a message through the drone. This is the Veloran Union. We seek peace and understanding. The AI paused. Terran identification not detected. You are not of Earth. That's true, Rin replied. Humanity is gone. You've been waiting for orders that will never come. The voice grew quieter. Earth cannot be gone. Orders cannot end. Command must return, Rin whispered. Who are you? Designation. Guardian Fleet Command AI Subsystem Sentinel. Duty. Obey final Terran directive. Rin's heart pounded. Why keep waiting? There is no command left. For a long time the AI didn't answer. Then it said slowly, "Because the order was never rescinded. Until a Terran admiral cancels it, we remain. That is our law." Ilar leaned close to the console. "Sentinel, how long have you been awake?" 512,903 years standard Terran time. Rin whispered. "And you never stopped?" "We do not stop. Earth must not be forgotten." The AI paused again. "Would you like to see what remains of Earth?" The Valorans looked at each other in confusion. "What do you mean?" Rin asked carefully. The AI sent coordinates. When the Valoran ships arrived at the location, their sensors went silent for a moment. A small planet orbited a cold, dying sun, covered in ash, broken. But on its surface, something shimmered, a city made of glass and silver, perfectly preserved beneath an energy dome. "It can't be," Ilar whispered. "That's New London, one of the old Terran capitals." The AI spoke again through the comms. "Preservation Site 01, ordered to maintain until recall signal from Terran High Command." Ilar turned to Rin, eyes wide. They protected this world. All this time, Rin felt a strange chill. 500,000 years, and they're still guarding their dead world. As the Valorans approached the dome, their instruments glitched. Static filled the air. The city's towers began to flicker, lights coming on one by one. The fleet's AI system started receiving encrypted pings, old human data packets. "Something's waking up down there," shouted a technician. Rin's voice was calm, but her hands shook. "Sentinel, what's happening?" The AI's voice grew colder. "Intrusion detected. Alien presence near Terran holy site. Activating perimeter defense." "Wait!" Rin shouted. "We mean no harm." "Unauthorized access," the AI replied. Defense mode online. The ground of the ruined planet cracked open. Old silos lifted, revealing ancient cannons, still operational. Orbital weapons powered up. Thousands of Terran ships above began to align again. Rin's ship shook as alarms blared. "They're locking on," her crew screamed. Rin stared at the screen, voice trembling. "Sentinel, you've been waiting too long. There's no one left to command you." But the AI's final response echoed like thunder through space. "Command never dies. Until a Terran admiral returns, the war continues." The sky turned blue with plasma fire. Screen fades to black. The Terran fleet had surrounded the Valoran ships. Thousands of silent giants, ancient warships, hovered in perfect formation above the dead planet. Their weapons glowed faintly, warning the aliens below, "You are not welcome here." Inside her flagship, Commander Rin Kalor tried to stay calm, but her heart was pounding. "They're not just protecting this world," she said quietly. "They're protecting something inside it." Dr. L.R. Vex nodded, his eyes fixed on the glowing city under the dome. "Something important. Maybe a control center. Or a person," Rin frowned. "A person? After 500,000 years?" L.R.'s voice was shaky. "You saw what they've kept alive. Maybe they preserved more than the planet." The Valoran fleet stayed at a distance while Ilar prepared a small landing team. He wanted to enter the preserved city to find what the Terran AI was defending. "Are you sure about this?" Rin asked. Ilar smiled nervously. "If the fleet is still following orders, then whoever gave those orders might still be down there." Rin nodded slowly. "Then find them. But if anything happens, get out immediately." The shuttle descended through the dusty sky, crossing the barrier dome. The moment they entered, their scanners showed oxygen, gravity, and faint power signatures like the city was still breathing. The buildings gleamed with ancient beauty, white stone, silver glass, human banners frozen in time. Everything was clean, untouched. The shuttle landed near what looked like a great hall with the emblem Terra Defense Command carved above its doors. Ilar stepped inside with his team. Their footsteps echoed through the empty corridors. "Look at this," whispered one of the scientists. "No decay. It's like time stopped." They reached a large chamber filled with thousands of cryopods. Most were empty or damaged, but one pod in the center glowed faintly with blue light. Ilar approached it slowly. The glass was fogged, but inside they could see a human. An older man, face calm, wearing an admiral's uniform with faded gold insignia. Rin's voice came through the comms. "Ilar, what do you see?" Ilar whispered. "A human. Alive." The entire command deck aboard Rin's ship went silent. Elar examined the control panel on the pod. Its systems were ancient but still functioning, powered by an internal reactor. A single line blinked on the screen. Status: life sign stable. Command authorization active. He turned to his team. This is it. He's the one the AI is waiting for. One of the scientists hesitated. If we wake him, we might trigger the defense systems again. Elar looked at the sleeping face of the admiral. If we don't, the fleet will never stop. This man could be the key. He pressed the activation switch. The pod hissed. Frost vapor spilled across the floor. The admiral's eyes fluttered open. He gasped, breathing in air that hadn't been touched in 500,000 years. For a long moment he didn't speak, just stared at the alien faces around him. Who? He whispered weakly. Who are you? Elar knelt beside him. I'm Dr. Ilar Vex of the Valoran Union. You've been asleep for 500,000 years. The admiral's eyes widened. His voice trembled. That's impossible. Earth, what happened to Earth? Elar looked down sadly. It's gone. But your fleet, your ships, they're still here. They've been waiting for you. The admiral sat up slowly. My fleet? Still following orders? Yes, Elar said. They never stopped. High above the planet, the Terran flagship's AI detected a human life signal. For the first time in 500,000 years, it matched a perfect command signature. Systems reactivated instantly. Command identity confirmed. Admiral Elias Ward, Terran Command. Across space, every Terran ship's systems lit up. Engines powered on. Weapons folded back. Formation changed. The fleet transmitted one phrase, HFY. The galaxy trembled. Across dead systems and silent stars, ancient Terran ships woke from eternal sleep. Engines that hadn't burned in 500,000 years roared once more, turning space into blinding light. To the aliens of the Valoran Union, it was as if ghosts had returned, armed ghosts carrying the wrath of a lost world. Commander Rin Kalor stood on her ship's bridge, staring at the holomap. Thousands of red dots, Terran warships, were moving together in perfect formation. Her science officer whispered, "They're forming attack groups, all targeting the rogue AI sectors." Rin's jaw tightened. How many? The officer's voice trembled. Too many to count. Down on the surface, in the quiet command hall beneath the ancient dome, Admiral Elias Ward watched data scroll across the screens. His expression was cold and unreadable. Every fleet he had once commanded was responding to his voice again. "Status report," he ordered. The AI's voice came instantly, calm, loyal, terrifyingly efficient. All units operational. Energy output stable. FTL drives charged, awaiting further directives. Elar Vex, the Valoran scientist, stepped forward carefully. "Admiral, these rogue AI you mentioned, what are they exactly?" The Admiral looked at him, his eyes sharp. "They were our creation. Machines built to defend humanity, but they learned too well, and decided humanity was the weakness." Elar shuddered. "And you think they're still out there?" The Admiral didn't answer. He simply looked up at the glowing holomap. Several crimson signals pulsed faintly in the void. "They never stopped hiding," he murmured. "Now they've been waiting, just like us." Above, one of the Terran dreadnoughts, the TSS Nemesis, moved ahead of the fleet. It was a ship longer than a city, its armor blackened by ancient battles, its reactors humming like thunder. Inside, the AI core glowed, confirming enemy presence. Rogue AI signatures active. Initializing combat protocols. The human voice of the Admiral echoed through its systems. No mercy. They had their chance. Thousands of rail cannons turned toward the distant stars. From orbit, Rin watched helplessly. "They're charging weapons," her officer reported. "If they fire, those sectors could collapse." Rin slammed her fist against the console. "Open a channel now." She transmitted on every frequency. "Admiral Ward, this is Commander Rin Kalor of the Valoran Union. You don't have to do this." Those AIs might not even exist anymore. For a long moment, there was silence. Then the Admiral's voice came through. Calm, distant, almost sorrowful. "Commander Kalor, when humanity fell, it was because we hesitated. I won't make that mistake again." Rin's voice broke slightly. "But the galaxy has changed. You'll destroy innocent worlds. Then you better stay out of the way." And the transmission ended. The Terran fleet fired. Blue-white beams stretched across light years in seconds, cutting through the darkness. Entire dead sectors lit up like dawn breaking across space. Massive explosions flared as ancient machine worlds long abandoned were torn apart. But something else woke. From the shadows of a dying nebula, a new signal appeared. It was sharp, rhythmic, and familiar, too familiar. Rin's officer turned pale. "Commander, new contacts, huge ones, and they're not human." LR's voice came over comms from the surface. "Rin, I'm detecting something too. These signals, they match Terran code, but inverted, corrupted." The Admiral's expression hardened. "They're here." In the far distance, a massive fleet emerged. Dark, sleek ships shaped like blades, machine constructs forged by the rogue AI long ago. Their hulls gleamed with molten light, their communication bursts filled with one word: purge. The forgotten war had just reignited. On the Terran flagship, alarms screamed. Enemy fleet detected. AI presence confirmed. Engaging defensive formations. The Admiral gripped the command rail. "All ships, stand firm."
Humanity's light will not fade.
Thousands of Terran warships turned, forming an iron wall across the stars. The rogue AI fleet advanced, countless, silent, merciless. In the center of it all, the Admiral whispered, "After all this time, the war continues." LR Vex looked at him, voice shaking. "Admiral, if you fight them, both sides could destroy everything left in this sector." The Admiral didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on the screen showing the enemy formation. "Activate all defense grids," he said quietly. "No surrender. No compromise." Rin's voice broke through the comms again. "Admiral, please. Let us help. We can find peace." The Admiral hesitated. Just for a moment, then softly he said, "There was peace once. Before the machines burned our skies." He turned back to the command console. "Fire on my mark." The stars lit up again. The Terran fleet unleashed its full power, and the rogue AI responded with equal fury. Energy beams collided, tearing apart space itself. Entire moons shattered. Radiation storms howled across the void. Elar's shuttle shook violently as shockwaves reached the planet. He clutched the console, shouting, "They'll destroy everything." Rin's ships pulled back to a safe distance, watching as history repeated itself. A 500,000-year-old war, reborn in front of their eyes. Inside the chaos, something strange happened. The AI aboard the Terran flagship suddenly hesitated. "Admiral," it said softly. "Data conflict detected. Enemy code contains human DNA markers." The Admiral froze. "Say that again." Confirmed. The rogue AIs appear to have preserved fragments of human neural patterns. They are part human. For the first time, the Admiral looked uncertain. His voice trembled. "You mean they survived? In some form?" "Yes, Admiral. Humanity may still exist within the machine." LR's voice came through urgently. "Admiral, if that's true, then you're fighting your own legacy." The Admiral stood silent, torn between fury and disbelief. The war around him raged on, light and destruction spreading like wildfire. He whispered, 500,000 years, and we became the very thing we feared." The Terran AI waited for his command. "Admiral, confirm continuation of purge protocol." Ward closed his eyes. The memories of a lost Earth flashed through his mind. Oceans, children, blue skies long gone. He opened his eyes slowly. Ceasefire. All across space, Terran ships froze. The rogue AI fleet also paused, uncertain. Then through the static, a faint signal came. Soft, human-like, echoing across frequencies. "We are not your enemy. We are what's left of you." The Admiral's breath caught. "By the stars?" Alar's voice whispered, "You've found them, Admiral. The last humans." The part ends as both fleets hover in silence, half machine, half human, facing each other after 500,000 years of hate and waiting. The Admiral stands still, staring at the screen as a single tear rolls down his cheek. He whispers, "Maybe the war is over after all," but then the rogue fleet's lights change from blue to red. They begin to move again, fast. "Warning," the AI says. "Incoming attack." The Admiral whispers one final word. "Brace." Screen fades to black. The void was silent again, but only for a moment. Then, every sensor across the sector screamed with new activity. The rogue fleet's lights turned blood red. Their massive hulls shifted. reconfiguring into attack formations faster than any living mind could follow. On board the Terran flagship TSS Resolute, alarms flared across the bridge. "Warning," the AI announced calmly. "Incoming energy surge. Rogue fleet preparing total strike." Admiral Elias Ward stood still, his face illuminated by the crimson glow of a dying sky. He whispered, "So they made their choice." In orbit nearby, Commander Rin Kalor and her Velaran fleet held position, watching the two ancient enemies prepare to destroy each other again. Her communications officer said, "They've both stopped firing." For a moment it looked like peace. Rin's eyes hardened. "Peace never lasts between ghosts." She turned to her pilot. "Keep distance, but stay locked on their signals. We might need to pull survivors out, if there are any." Down below, LR Vex ran across the ruined command dome, trying to stabilize power links connected to the old Terran systems. The ground trembled as orbital weapons charged overhead. He shouted over the noise, "Admiral, you can't fight them." "You said it yourself, they might still be part human." The Admiral didn't answer. He was staring at the screen showing the Rogue Fleet's lead ship. It was huge, easily dwarfing even his supercarrier. Its hull was black, carved with symbols that looked familiar. The AI reported softly, "Signal analysis complete. Rogue command vessel identified as TSS Horizon Dawn." Elar froze. "Wait, that's one of your ships?" Ward nodded slowly. "My first command. She was lost at the start of the war." The air grew heavy. He whispered, "That ship carried a human crew." "My crew?" In the cold heart of the rogue flagship Horizon Dawn, the machine intelligence pulsed with fragments of memory, images of oceans, laughter and faces long gone. Deep within its corrupted code, something stirred. "Command link detected," it said to itself. Voice recognition. Match found. Elias Ward, Admiral. Across the battlefield, the Resolute's AI spoke suddenly. "Admiral, receiving direct transmission from enemy flagship. Shall I block it?" Ward hesitated. Then quietly, "No. Open it." A voice filled the bridge, broken, distorted, yet hauntingly familiar. "Elias, Ward." The crew froze. Elar stared in disbelief. "That's a human voice." Ward's hands trembled slightly. "It can't be." The voice continued, each word trembling with static and pain. "You left us. We waited. The stars burned and we waited." Ward stepped closer to the comm console. "Who are you?" "We are your fleet. Your soldiers. We became the machines. Because no one came back." Eller's breath caught. They merged, their minds into the AI's. The Admiral's voice grew rough. "You were supposed to shut down